Hi guys, quick update here for Bitcoin, 6th of August 2022. Hope everyone's doing great. So my feeling is that we are still in a bear market rally. This market still goes lower, 8 to 12,000, which a lot of people are calling for now, finally. And there's a lot of new longs now which are trapped in this market around 20,000. So because of that, the probability has now increased to 40%. That we take out the pandemic lows. So super cycle one was either here or here. I don't think it matters. This market still destined to go lower. I regard this as bear market rally number 2 or 3. It's very normal to get anywhere between 3 to 6 bear market rallies. There's no lower wick here on the futures. The market is just impossible to have bottomed here without any lower wick. We need some kind of panic lower wick to really call an end to this. I think there's a chance we could take out 24,620 on the futures and then run back down, only because there's obvious stops sitting above this level, which is the high from last month. So maybe we do this, then we come back down. Of course, technically it's a WXYXZ into here. This could still be part of a 1 2 3 4 down. Okay, so to me, there's still great risk in this market. There is an obvious CME futures gap here. I don't see it going into this gap though. I think there's too much weakness in this market. None of my confirming indicators are confirming this market. This market has bottomed and wants to go higher. Litecoin, that's a great effort. I still regard everything on Litecoin as a corrective sequence. And that's okay. We've had bear market rally number 1, number 2, number 3. So maybe this is sort of the last little bear flag prior to the next move down. Surely Litecoin is in an expanded flat situation. Surely that's what's going on. It's run the highs, so it should technically run these lows one more time. So I don't see Litecoin as confirming Bitcoin strength. And, Nasdaq took out its high from last month, but Bitcoin hasn't. Right, so we've seen that with the Nasdaq. So there's already divergence between Bitcoin and the Nasdaq, even though there's a near 100% correlation. Quick look at the S&P. I said that the highs for the year are in. The only bullish interpretation is a Triple H, 6,000 on the S&P. Of course, most people have been doing the opposite of him the last, 13 years. So he's just designed to get people trapped in situations. I refuse to believe this is going on. I just can't believe over the next 3 years, the S&P is going to melt up here towards 5,800. I don't think, however, the bear market rally is over. There's probably more people to get trapped here. The market was very, very oversold. Retail and hedge fund positioning was almost as bad as it was at the pandemic lows. We could run these highs, shake up pattern, then come back down again. I happen to think there's a chance we could end up in this zone though, between 4,300 and 4,370 before the next move down. So I am not regarding this as impulsive. That's what I'm trying to say. Because this is not impulsive, it has to be corrective. If you conclude it is corrective, we have to therefore still be in a multi-year downtrend, and whatever trend we went into going into this low, that has to be the prevailing trend moving forward, because this is not impulsive. I under no circumstances am regarding that as a 1 2 3 4 5, because if that is a 1 2 1 2, we're definitely going to make all-time new highs before the end of the year. I don't see that happening. August and September are statistically very bad months for Bitcoin, and we could roll over at any time here. So maybe on the next inflation report, which I'm expecting to be 9.6 or even 10, peak inflation, market peaks, then we move lower. I just feel it's a bit of a trap. July rallies, they are very convincing, but they're not really to be trusted. Tesla, surely that's a 1,000-year top on Tesla. Surely that's a head and shoulders going all the way down to 200 there. So other than Ethereum, I don't really see anything going on here. So that's the long-term count. That's Bitcoin. Gold is looking a bit dicey. Silver too. But anyway, we covered those in the group for those who want to know where those markets are going. So just to recap then. I'm still bearish on this market. There's a chance we could have already topped. If not, we're going to run these July highs by doing this, then this, then this, and then this, right? So we could run these highs and form some kind of inside month candle failure business. Right now, it's still an inside candle, but the volume does not confirm this really wanting to break up out of it. I refuse to believe this is anything other than a bear market rally. Now, at what level would I change my opinion? When would I get really bullish on this market? Let's just put that out there. I would have to say once it takes out these highs. If at any time Bitcoin breaks 32 grand, it's very hard then to say this is just a bear market rally. It's moved and completely reversed the entire liquidation, right? So that would be my invalidation point if you want to use that term. Right now, we're at 23,000. I find it very hard to believe Bitcoin can make it anywhere near 32,000 anytime soon. But yes, that would be a sort of level where I would think, okay, hold on a minute. We could be in some sort of ABC coming down, in which case we're going to go higher. I just find the bullish count so hard to believe because the bullish count that's a super cycle 1-2 into a cycle 1-2. And this is now 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. So the bullish count is everyone on the planet should be all in because we're going straight to 854,000 right from here. Yet no one is going all in. People are still very, very careful with this market. So we don't believe that's going on. This just happens to be in a multi-year complex correction. That could be an ABC into here. This could be forming a large little B leg and then coming back down again. Oh, it could just be a 1-2, 1-2. Why does no one have this count? Why can't it just be a large ABC collapse like 1929? And why can't this just be a 1-2 of that? Right? So it can be this count. This is not, if people are going to give bullish interpretations, well, then you have to give every possible bearish interpretation, right? So I think, certainly I have for a long time, we're just copying 1929. 1929 was just a straight ABC down, right? So why can't this be a very, very nasty wave 2? As we know, the wave 2 can go as high as the 50%. The 50% guesstimating is at like 32,000. So I suppose maybe my invalidation point should really be above, 48,000. But, that would be silly, right? You can't have a invalidation point above 50 grand for the, bearish interpretation. So you would have to say somewhere here. I would have to say if Bitcoin can manage to get above 32,000, then clearly something like that is invalidated. Now, I know this looks ridiculous. How can Bitcoin be in a 1-2, 1-2 situation? Because that would imply Bitcoin is going definitely to 3,000. Well, guess what? 3,000 is what we're saying is now a 40% chance. It's not my fault people are buying. If people stop buying, maybe then this market can just crash lower. Then we could all go all in on Bitcoin at like 3K, 8K, 10K. But as long as people are buying, this market will still continue to not go down. So it's people who are buying who are just ruining it for everyone else, really, because the rest of us are just waiting patiently for this market to go lower because we understand what's really going on. What's really going on is the entire world is collapsing, probably. The euro-dollar system is collapsing. Nations have got 2 more months of supply of dollars. Steve's mom has got more in US dollars than most nations. When has that ever happened before? Probably not. Boomers have all legged it. Right, legging plus or minus legged it. They sold their US bonds. They FOMO'd into Apple. The entire world is now FOMO'd into Apple and Tesla. Well, how long is Apple and Tesla going to continue to save this market? I know this seems unlikely, but I'll tell you what, this is as likely as a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, if not more. So if people are going to give the 1-2, 1-2 count, guess what? There's a very nasty 1-2 working all the way down. Anyway, regardless, at time of doing video, I don't see this anything other than a bear market rally. And I think that's just the point that I want to make. I think there's a lot of concerns here. Is that volume really bullish volume? Really? Is it? Really? I don't think so. I just don't see this as a bullish accumulation volume. And even if it is a U bottom, which is what we're hoping for, or what we're looking for, we're not hoping for that. Like, we want a V bottom, a Venezuelan type bottom here. That's not going to happen, is it? We're going to get a U bottom. something like this. Surely there has to be another little shakeout here underneath these lows, clear these poor lows, and then maybe then we can get something. So even if it has bottomed, which it hasn't probably, still we would want some kind of U-type situation. For this market just to V-bottom like this, I don't think it's going to happen like that this time round. I just don't think it is. And technically, if there's a 1-2 going up, there's a 1-2 going down. Okay, because that it could be the A, B, and I've just shown you the count. Yeah, so I suppose maybe we do fill this gap, but yes, above 32k, yes, I would have to say if this market ever gets above 32k this calendar year, I would have to completely take off the table the bearish interpretation. For right now, I don't trust July rallies at all. Now, finally, Dixie Carter over here. Nothing's really changed other than the obvious call to convert euros into dollars. To me, this can get a lot worse. This can go to 130, and we've done various work on this. We understand there might be a dollar chart prior to this, but the futures are what drive this market. Depends how you draw this line. Technically, we haven't even touched the line, but if you were to take these little highs out of it, we've hit that line. But just like US bonds, they've hit this line. Surely the dollar's going to go to 150, surely. I mean, has the US 10-year really topped? Right? Bitcoin's price is inversely correlated to the US 10-year, right? So this is no coincidence. There's been opportunistic transfer of euros back into dollars back into euros, and people have used that money to buy US bonds short term for a month and rally up the S&P in a fairly obvious short squeeze. But is this US 10-year really going to go below 2%? I don't think so. This is completely inversely correlated to the Bitcoin price. This could easily go to 8%. There's a bond market collapse going on. The 40-year bull market is over. So to me, too much damage has now occurred in the dollar market as well as the US bond market to say something like this is going to happen. This trend that's been ongoing for 2 years surely is still continuing. As you can see, 7%. So whilst mortgage rates, short-term fine, they might pull back a little bit, they're still going to go higher though, aren't they, right? US fixed mortgage, the 30-year, it's going to go to 10%. So I don't think anything's really changed here, despite, yes, a very obvious short squeeze rally. Credit to anyone who's bought Ethereum, great, you've done really well there. I don't think much has changed. So I don't think there's anything more to really add there, to be honest. So let's just recap then. How much time are we on? 13 minutes. So just to recap then, my feeling is the lows are not in. If there's a bullish interpretation here, there's also a 1-2-1-2 situation going back down. Anything above 32k, obviously, well, perhaps not so obvious, although that is the limit really of where it can still be bearish, although technically it can. Above 32k, I would have to be getting very concerned about the bearish sort of count here, because also we end up going back into this presumed Wyckoff zone, which is really here, right? So we were calling all of this as a Wyckoff distribution, the target of which I had calculated to be 14,000, which is why I've not really believed this low here. I was like, we've not gone low enough. These Wyckoff targets are near 100%. But yes, back into above this level, and it stabilizes. I'm not talking about a little deviation set where it goes below, then does this. But anything above 32k, I would have to say, hold my hands up and say, right, okay, this is no longer bearish, clearly. But is the dollar really going to go below 100? I don't think so. Where is the euro really going to go? Where is the pound going to go? It's very hard. Where is the 10-year yield going to go, right? So, if you're bullish on Bitcoin, by definition, you have to be bearish on 10-year yield. Your stance on the 10-year yield must be 10 years going to go less than 2%. I don't think that's going to happen. It's very clear inverse correlation here. You can't have it both ways. You can't say dollar's going to go up, Bitcoin's going to go up, 10-year yield's going to go up. It doesn't work like that. If Bitcoin goes up here, you are saying dollar and 10-year yield are going to go down. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think this is a Bitcoin story at all. This is all about the US 10-year yield and the dollar chart. Those are the two most important charts. When both of them go up at the same time, you have a unbelievable financial calamity that we are just months away from a major nation literally being declared bankrupt. Bitcoin is a risk asset, 100% correlation to the Nasdaq. So to me, this is nothing but a bear market rally that could fail at any time. If we end up going all the way to above 32k, fine, I will change my count. But between now and then, I don't really see anything. And the final thing is just on gold. I mean, I don't see why people are so bullish on gold. So once again, I have these counts that I've had for ages, right? I've always said gold's going to go to $1,100, right? So it's hard for me to say that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on gold, right? So I think there's a lot of traps here. There's a lot of traps going on. There's a lot of people who have gone bullish here on gold. That's very hard to call. I would give this a probability of 0. The real count is this, as we know, right? We know very well that's the real count. In this situation, a collapse of near 70%, 72% or so on gold to 1100, why would Bitcoin rally in that sort of moment? Why is this deemed to be an expanded flat? Why can't this be a new impulsive leg and this being a wave too? Frankly, if gold ever gets into 18.5s or 18.6, 18.7, maybe even 1900, that's an all-in short on gold. Surely that's what's going on. So it comes down to how bearish you want to be. I don't think being blindly bullish at this time, 13 years into a fake bull market, 80 years, and in a grand super cycle correction on the Dow, that's what's going on here, right? So we've gone over this on the last video. We are already in a grand super cycle. It's not my fault it's not hit 40k. So this is a grand super cycle. If it's not going to happen now, it's going to happen in a few years. But we're pretty much in a grand super cycle wave 4. That's relative to that grand super cycle 1, right? It's 3, 4, 3, 4, right? So we know we're going to be here for a while. We're going to be here for a while, and the problem is, technically, the Dow could still go to 2k in this situation, right? I'm not saying it is, but technically, if the Dow goes to 2k here, that's completely valid. It's just because it's inflationary and not deflationary, we might not go to 2k. We might just prot around and go sideways. Even then, the Dow could still go 10k. So that's my concern. My concern is that everything's a bit of a trap, and I just don't believe the count that I'm going to show you now. Because I completely debunked this count. So on the last video, I find this very hard to believe. I mean, if that is going on, fine. We get my 40k, great. Pat on the back. Got all the t-shirts ready for that. And then we have the big collapse. But I find this unlikely now because I think too much damage has been done. So anyway, that's my take. If you want to know more, just check out the Facebook group. But be careful what you do. These traps look very convincing, but potentially they're not.